What's up, fight fans? Welcome back to Benchwarmed MMA, where we break down the hottest UFC fights, all the biggest contenders, and who's really next in line for glory. Today, we'll be breaking down, it's going to be a quick video, but we'll be breaking down UFC Fight Night, Tsarukyan versus Hooker. This video particularly is going to focus on just two of the fights, primarily the main event and the co-main event. Now, to start the co-main event, you do have Ian Machado Gary versus Belal Muhammad. And the main event is Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker. Now, what I really wanted to speak about here was a little bit about what's next for both of these fighters and the winners, particularly what the losers should expect. And I really think that this fight night is a pivotal point of what's coming up for the next couple of UFCs. Now, we'll dive right into Belal Muhammad and Ian. Both of them at number 6 and number 2 in the welterweight currently. I think this is a very big fight for both Belal and Ian. I think if Ian wins this fight, he should have a title eliminator with Shavkat Rakhmonov, something I've already brought up in my previous videos. I think Shavkat is next in line to fight for the championship, but I think he's been inactive for a little too long for him to just immediately get that title shot. Ian, on the other hand, has just come off of a big win over Carlos Perates. He's about to fight Belal Muhammad. A win over Belal Muhammad, a recent former champion, I think, proves that he at least deserves a shot with Islam. Do I think he's going to beat Islam? That's a different story. Now, Belal Muhammad, on the other hand, kind of a tight situation here. I definitely see Belal Muhammad possibly somehow getting the win. Definitely not leaning towards it. I think Ian is going to finish the win. I'm going to say it's going to go 5 rounds decision, Ian Gary. But Belal Muhammad, if he somehow pulls out a magic trick and somehow gets the win, I think it's going to put a big block on the welterweight division. Reason being, I don't see Belal Muhammad fighting Islam. They're friends. That's a group that he hangs out with, spent a lot of time with. I just don't see Belal Muhammad as when he was champion. Islam had said he won't move up for that reason. I see it very hard that Belal is going to then challenge Islam. Let alone beat him. Now, with the Belal Muhammad and Ian Gary fight, if Ian were to win, it no question has to be Ian versus Shavkat. Winner then should be Islam's first title defense. I think that is fair for not just the division, the weight class, but it is also fair for the contenders that have been there. The welterweight has looked amazing for absolutely years now, and I think it'll continue on like that with Islam being the next champ. Ian Gary, Belal Muhammad, Shavkat, and some of the other names that we just recently watched fight, like Micah Morales and Carlos Perates. All right, now let's dive right into Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker. The reason I said that this fight night is going to be a pivotal point is because both of these fights, both the co-main event with Belal and Ian and Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker, both eventually lead up to, and can lead up to, stay with me now, a super fight between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria. Here's how. Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker. I believe the winner of these between these two should then go on to fight Paddy Pimblett, who's coming off of a great win off of Michael Chandler, Instead of throwing Paddy right to Ilia, I know Ilia is going to try to get to Islam. I don't think Islam is taking that fight. He just won the championship. He's already talked about speaking in other weight classes. Although Khabib and Islam has said, after the Charles fight, they might entertain the fact, so who knows? But I ideally think from a matchmaker standpoint, from Uncle Dana's standpoint, from a fight fan standpoint, just to see the bigger picture here, I think Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker is going to be amazing to watch. The winner between Arman Tsarukyan and Dan Hooker should take on Paddy Pimblett. And the winner of that fight should then advance to to be the first title defense for Ilia Topuria in the lightweight division. I do see Arman Tsarukyan being one of the few challenges that Ilia is going to have. To be completely honest, my money's still on Ilia. But with that being said, everything expects to go the right way. If it does not, if somehow Hooker finds this win, I don't see him surviving against Paddy Pimblett. Dan Hooker is fun to watch. He's a dog. He can take hits. He can hit back. He's got a good amount of wins. Fan favorite. I have thousands of great things to say about Dan Hooker. I see it very difficult for him to get through Arman Tsarukyan, skill set wise. Arman Tsarukyan is phenomenal on the floor. Where Dan Hooker is great of a fighter as he is all around, he's definitely more of a striking niche. Arman Tsarukyan, I think, versus Paddy Pimblett is so much more even than people think or would give credit to. I believe that match will be a very underrated match. It's going to be so much fun to watch, especially with the heat that Paddy has and the beef that him and Ilia have. I think there's a big chip on Paddy's shoulder. He needs to win. He knows he's next in line. But I don't think he should immediately be shot up to Ilia. Again, I think Arman Tsarukyan, Dan Hooker, winner should fight Paddy Pimblett. The winner of those should be taking on Ilia for his first title defense. Now, long story short here, at the end of the Ilia fight and Islam, ideally, if both of those guys can defend their titles, I think that builds a perfect, absolutely perfect title fight, super fight between the two. I'm one of the too few fighters in the league still in all of UFC that I am having a very hard time leaning from one to the other. I think they're both absolutely amazing in all aspects of MMA. But with that being said, that's my take, guys. Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to smash the like button. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if you guys agree with it, if you see the UFC going a different way, or if you just see Uncle Dana making different moves. Don't forget to subscribe. It really helps the channel grow, helps me grow. And let's interact in the comments. Let me know what you want to hear, what you want to see next, and we'll do our best. But thank you, fight fans. Thank you for tuning in to Benchwarmed MMA. Stay informed and have a lovely rest of your day.